I am what would be considered as a TDC brat. You would think that someone with parents that worked for TDC their whole life, grew up around TDC, that you wouldn't make some of the decisions that I did. But drugs and alcohol, they don't discriminate. I graduated in 2001. After that, it was the drug use. It was the in and out of county jail. And at this point, I'm 18, 19 years old. In 2002 or 2003, I was given deferred adjudication probation for a burglary rehabilitation. I couldn't stay clean. I couldn't stay out of trouble on probation. So therefore, I was sent to TDC and through SafeP as well. So SafeP is Substance Abuse Felony Punishment Facility. It's in-prison treatment. It's a therapeutic community. And within that therapeutic community, it's all designed around the cognitive self-change, so that hopefully, by the time that you're done with that, you will have addressed your thinking. You will have addressed and made clear where your negative core beliefs are, your negative thoughts, and replacing all of those with positive core thoughts, because the sentence of your life is still being wrote. We have the power. We hold the key. When I got out, I went to a halfway house in Tyler, Texas. I was working at Wendy's and I was making $7.25 an hour. One of the managers, she had gotten this house and she started renting this house, and so I got a room. Her son was smoking weed upstairs, so here I was, fresh out, still on papers, still reporting, and still navigating the free world. And here's my first test, here's my first trial, here's my first big hurdle. And on top of that, I had just had ACL surgery. I know without a shadow of a doubt, the only place that is available to me is the grave, if I ever go back and use, if I ever go back down that path. So I'm laying in this garage that had been turned into a room with barely anything. I'm by myself. I got an infection in my leg sitting in there. I was losing weight. I was smelling this weed, and just 100 yards down the street, there was an AA house. And I hobbled my rear end down there with some crutches because I was hell-bent on staying clean and sober. I was not gonna let anything come in between me and my recovery, come in between me and my freedom. I didn't initially accept the fact that God had been calling me as a preacher. I ran from it. I avoided it. I tried to ignore it. But eventually, one day, God broke me down. The scripture was coming alive, and I was being told something that day. And that gift that I was neglecting, that gift that I was ignoring, was in fact that I knew I was being called to preach, that I had a higher calling, that I had something more to do. And from that day forward, I announced my calling in front of my church. I think I went about another year or so, and I preached my first sermon in January of 2008. And I've been preaching and teaching ever since. I was asked to speak at a 15-year anniversary at the Estelle SafeP. I knew that once I left that unit, that prison ministry is what I was being called to do. I knew that at that point that I was destined to come back. I knew that at that point I didn't really know how it was going to look or how I was going to be involved, whether I would be teaching or preaching or coming to visit. I didn't really know. But here we are 2 decades later, and now I am a chaplain.